Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high, cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold up, we just saying hi. Find somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live, somebody. Let's go.
Good afternoon. Good morning and good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys all doing well out there. Hope this show finds you in good spirits, because another day above the dirt is always what? It's always a blessing, y'all. I mean, it's always a good thing to be alive and breathing. Let's not forget that. Okay? Another day above the dirt is always a blessing. You know, we got some things to talk about. Speaking about being above the dirt, there is some very interesting things going on right now. A lot of people have some questions and some concerns about our commander-in-chief. We have got to talk about this. And of course, there's about to be a press conference here very shortly, allegedly soon, but you know how it is. They're never on time, okay? But they're supposed to be having a press conference, and Trump is supposed to be announcing a whole bunch of things. And I got some questions about what they're going to be addressing today. We're going to talk about those things as well. So do me a favor, before we get into everything, hit that like button down below. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on these other platforms. Please and thank you. If you're watching on Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, please make sure. Twitch as well. Let's not forget that as well. And Kick. Please make sure you are hitting that follow button. Follow. Please and thank you. That'd be greatly appreciated. Okay. Hit that follow button. Of course, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're watching on on YouTube. Subscribe. Go and check out my other channels. I got the Pascal Show clips and Pascal Raw. Go check those things out. That'd be greatly appreciated. Okay. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Set it to all so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because it is random. Just to be completely real, it is random. All right. 1 second. Yep. Crazy. Anyway, so we got some things we got to talk about. There's some things going on. So hit that notification bell. Hit that join button. Become a member. Support the channel if you can. Check out my Patreon. Check out my locals. And, of course, check out PascalMerch.com. Okay? PascalMerch.com. All right, guys. We got to get into this conversation. We got a lot to do. We got a lot to conversate about. And, yes, somebody just asked, health concerns? Yes, we're going to get into that conversation here very, very shortly, okay? Just ride with me for a second, and we'll talk about all the health concerns thing, okay? Now, here's the thing. I mean, we're going to get straight into it, all right? This is the first press conference since the concerns of his health, okay? Now, let me explain everything. We're going to take a little trip down memory lane, I don't have the kind of trip down memory lane dream sequence music. Okay. But let's talk about this really quick. There's a lot of people that are very concerned about how Trump has been doing his health. A lot of people are thinking that him gone. Some people think he passed on. He has crossed over. He hasn't, guys. I truly don't think that. Now, I know everybody and their mama is going to have their theory. And hey, listen. Do you, boo-boo? Whatever makes you sleep good at night. Okay, girl. Do you, boo-boo? Okay. But at the same time, something about this screams wasted concern. I think he's fine. I really do. Now, I know some of y'all gonna be like, meh, how dare you talk about this man? Meh. Well, here it is. This is what everybody's concerned about. This is what people are talking about in the internet streets. Some of y'all are diabolical, y'all. Some of y'all are crazy, okay? Some of y'all are crazy. Now, don't get me wrong. This would not be the first time that an administration was hiding the ailments or the health of the president, of the sitting president. This is not the first time, guys. Okay? We've seen it a couple times. And it's happened way before. It's happened way before some of us were even born. Okay? So it's been happening for a while. We've seen this kind of fake setup type of thing. Let's just be completely real. So the possibility is still on the table, but at the same time, I'm telling you guys right now, we are most likely going to see. Okay, here it is. Here it is. My theory is that we're going to see him alive and well, doing just fine. He's going to be pointing people out, answering questions and all that, probably still wearing a hat. I have a theory about the hat. Okay. But I think he's going to be like, you, go ahead and answer all these questions, right? And he's going to be like, America, he's going to do his thing, right? Completely obliterated, that thing, right? But I think we're going to see him alive and well. But here's the thing. Let me just put a hard pause on that. Let's hit the brakes really hard. And don't worry, we are waiting for the press conference. Some of y'all will be like, oh, yeah, are we going to see this? Are you going to show it? Yeah, my love, I'm going to show it right here. As you can see, it's nothing right now. I think it's still making that crazy noise. Yep, still doing that too. I can't believe that. Stop, you son of a. You know what I mean? So that's what's going on right now. That's a live feed of the Donald Trump's announcement, and apparently from the Oval Office. So yes, we're going to see him alive and well. Now, okay, hold on. For those who are naysayers out there that just want everything to be diabolical and everything to be twists and turns like a Sherlock Holmes novel, let me throw something out here to appease you guys. Here's the question. If this is a pre-recorded video, then that raises some eyebrows. Both eyebrows, not just some, both. I will say that. If this is a pre-recorded video where he's not like pointing people out going, okay, Blondie in the back, sup? Yo, you down there. Okay, I got to pick some diversity. No, actually, he doesn't like diversity. Sorry. But he'll be like, okay, beautiful black woman in the front. Oh, God. Wow, you're beautiful. You're absolutely wonderful. Yes, go ahead, talk. Yeah, right. If we don't see that, and this is just a pre-recorded video, yeah, eyebrows absolutely raised. Absolutely raised. So I'm waiting for it too. Trust me. But I'm still going, nah, they wouldn't do us dirty like that. Epstein files. Excuse me. Yeah. So yeah, moving on though. They wouldn't do us dirty like that. Right? They wouldn't do that. Now, of course, people have been sitting here saying all kinds of different things, a lot of speculation because there's been a lot of photos that people have been putting out of him being like, can't you? I'm standing right here next to Trump. He's alive and well. He's doing just fine. See? Right? And people are doing the math and they're going, wait a second, that don't make sense. That's a photo from last year, or that's a photo from his first term, or all that stuff. Now, I don't know about all that, but what I do know, okay, is that it has caused quite the stir on the internets, so much that people are doing so much work to debunk or confirm the photos that have been put out here by the administration and by Trump supporters as well. Hardcore Trump supporters that have put out photos, countless photos of him, them saying, he's doing just fine. Can't you see? He's doing just fine. Right? Now, here's the thing. I think he's fine. Like I said, I think he's just fine. We're going to probably see him talk, do his thing, do his usual thing. I am kind of interested to see if he's going to rock a hat again. Because if he does wear, obviously I'm just exercising thoughts in the brain, okay? But my theories are that he been wearing a hat because maybe there was some sort of procedure that was done. That's one thing that people are talking about as well. Maybe he got a procedure done, you know what I mean, because of God knows what, right? And he's been wearing these hats a lot. He's been rocking the MAGA and the Trump was right about everything hats lately of various kinds. And people are wondering why he's wearing a hat. Could it be because he had some sort of surgical procedure, right? Or he got hair plugs. You never know. Shoot, you never know, baby. You just never know. Now, of course, that remains to be seen. And I don't see Trump going up to everybody going, yeah, I got hair plugs. Nah, I don't see it. I just don't see it. But there's been a lot of speculation about Trump being at the hospital, and that there was a sighting of Melania in the hallways of this hospital. Which, by the way, let me just say this: if he was in the hospital, do you really think we'd see Melania walking up and down a hallway all by her lonesome? Think about that for a second. The first lady, our first lady, do you really think that she'd be walking around all out here in these hospital streets unattended? Yeah, exactly. Gamer lover and Allison Fowler. Hey, nope. Or hell to the no. Hell no. She wouldn't be by herself. Exactly. True crime lullabies on TikTok. Exactly. Secret Service would be all up in that ass. Do you understand that? So it must have been some other model-esque woman with Botox walking up and down the hallway. With all due respect. Maybe it was just a very good-looking person. Older woman. Very statuesque. Looking like she came from money. Walking up and down the hallway. That's possible. That's possible. Plenty of girls, plenty of women out here that have watched many Real Housewives of whatever and, taking care of themselves. That Botox. That, Zampic. You know what I mean? So, it could be anybody. Just saying. I'm just saying. Okay. So let's take a few. Because obviously we are still. I'm gonna show you because I know some of y'all have been like, "Where's the press conference, Pascal? Where is it?" It's still this. Just so you know, so you don't trip. I'm not trying to not show you guys a press conference. I ain't trying to be like, ooh, clickbait. We're just going to sit here and we're just going to wax, not political, just wax conspiracy theory. Okay. No, we're not doing that. We still waiting. They late. Okay. They late. They want to chill. They you know how it is. They say 1 o'clock, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but it's really like 2:30, 1:30 Eastern Standard. They take their time. But like I said, what I really want to see to confirm, because for a fact, if okay, here's the other thing too. Let's talk about this. Let's just talk about it. Okay. Let's not forget we're dealing with Trump. Okay. And I don't mean that in a bad way. Hold up, time out. Because I know some of y'all gonna be like, what the hell you mean, Baker? You know what I mean? That's my forever president. Chill out. One thing is for sure though. We do know our Trump. We do know Trump. And when there's theories and speculation and rumors running around out here about him, he will troll the hell out of the general public, or he will make jokes about it. He'll put out memes. He'll put out posts online, right? Am I wrong or am I right? Would he not? So again, I feel like he would be having the time of his life, because it's like, oh, all you haters, right? He probably have some music video with a rap song by that Canadian rapper guy. I forgot his name. The hardcore Trump guy who makes all these rap songs, tatted up face. Tom McDonald's his name, right? Tom McDonald. He'd be like, you see what I'm saying? He would have a full on music video out here, right? Throwing out I don't know, WC or not WC, not WC, what WC's for the toilet. But you know what I mean? Like the White House, WH. I don't know what the sign language for H is, but you know what I'm saying? Throwing up gang signs White House. Standing next to Tom McDonald. He'd be having fun with this. He'd have memes, AI videos of him in a coffin. You know what I'm saying? Y'all wanted me dead. You know what I'm saying? He'd be having fun with this, but he's not, which is interesting. Now, he could have had something that happened to him. Okay. Yeah, I said Scorpio. Yeah, I did say White House. White House. You know what I mean? He's out there like, I don't know what H is, but you know what I'm saying? Just, slow-mo. He'd be doing that. He's funny like that. Is he not? Okay. Dude is a comedian. He likes to troll. That's true. That is facts. Before everybody gets all in their fee-fees, that is facts. Okay. So again, let's see. Let me see if he I think he did a truth post, which I think part of the conversation that's going to be a part of this, hold on. I think one of the things that he's going to be putting out here is going to be about Chicago. I truly think it's going to be, one of the main things is going to be about Chicago. Okay. Now, he did post a few things for sure, which is also very interesting. Hold on. I'm trying to find like he recently posted something about Chicago and how he is going to be bringing troops to the National Guard to Chicago. So he about 2 hours ago, he posted a few things. One of them happens to be this post. Let me show it to you. Actually, let me check to make sure. Yep, we still got the color bars. Okay, we still got the bars going on here. But let me show you what I mean. Let me show you what I'm talking about. This is what he posted just 2 hours ago. I have a feeling part of the conversation that he's going to be having is going to be about Chicago. Apparently, troops are already deployed. They're already showing up to Chicago right now as we speak. So again, this is very interesting. Okay. And then Heavenly Angel on TikTok said South Dakota had troops deployed. Interesting. That's interesting as well. I don't know what's going on, but I think we all do need, I think we all do need to know exactly what's going on, and we all should give a damn about this. This is very, very big deals. Okay. Very big deals with what's going on. Now, they said in the beginning that it was about, I forgot what they said. Something about him moving some department from Alabama or from Colorado to Alabama. But apparently it's going to be much more than just that. Okay. Like the last time we saw a press conference with him, he was covering a lot of different things other than just what he was up there for that press conference for, which was mainly him saying we're deploying the National Guard and we're taking over DC because the crime in DC is really, really bad. Now you're hearing, and I think this is what's going to happen. I think this is one of the main reasons why there's this press conference for today. He is basically saying that Chicago is about to be taken over by the National Guard again as well. Because here's what he said here in a Truth Social post. Okay, he says at least 54 people were hit, bang bang, over this weekend. 54 people hit this weekend in Chicago. 8 people have lost their lives. The last 2 weekends were similar. Chicago is the worst and most dangerous city in the world by far. Pritzker needs help badly. He just doesn't know it yet. I will solve the crime problem fast, just like I did in DC. Chicago will be safe again and soon, and then MAGA. Now, here's the thing. I don't know about how you guys feel about all this stuff, but this is what he posted 2 hours ago before this press conference that we're supposed to be having. Okay. And I don't know why they're showing this now. I don't. Let's see. And there's no sound. There's no sound at all. Okay, great. Fantastic. Okay. But again, like I said, Trump has not spoken out at all yet. Okay, guys, just so you guys know. Right now, we're looking at freaking waves. So I don't know what the heck is going on now. Okay. There was supposed to be a press conference, and so far, no dice. Let's see what's going on here. I'm checking other places as well. Bloomington, the other Fox channels, because I'm looking at Fox channels here right now. Those are talking about other news, other topics. They're just kind of continuing on with what they usually do, which is interesting. Let me see what's going on here.
Bloomington to Burnsville, from Cold Spring to Buffalo to Red Lake, our communities are hurting. And it's our first responders and our local law enforcement who are on the front line.
Okay, just so you
I just
know,
want to express my deepest
this is what's going on. I know you guys can't see this.
Responded to last
I'll
week's
explain
tragedy,
everything in a
including
second.
our police officers from Bloomington who responded. They didn't hesitate. They ran toward danger. They deserve our respect. They deserve our support. And they deserve action. They should not be outgunned. They deserve a seat at the table to prevent these tragedies before they happen. We've heard from many voices a call for better mental health resources. I absolutely couldn't agree.
So this is from Bloomington, Minnesota. And yeah, I'm wondering what the heck is going on here. But I guess this has to do with what happened in Minneapolis, or the tragedy that happened at the Annunciation School. Okay, which, by the way, was an absolute tragedy and unbelievable. Okay, I can't believe that happened. Right. But this is I'm assuming they're having a conversation about that. And of course, they're talking about reform. If you get what I'm saying, reform. Okay. But right now, they're not. This press conference, which was supposed to happen allegedly 21 minutes ago, still has not happened yet. Okay. They have now switched over to this conference about the reform in Minnesota. Okay. So we're still waiting for it. Okay. We're still waiting. But of course, there's more information out here, which we are going to get into here in just a little bit. But nonetheless, this is some wild stuff, guys. Wild stuff. Hold on one second. Oh boy. 1 second, guys. Excuse me. So yeah, still a bunch of things that we're still waiting on that information. Okay, still waiting on that press conference. But let's take a look and see what is going on. Just pull up a few things here real quick. Let's see here. One thing is very interesting that apparently is happening here. I don't know if it's happening now or if it's happening shortly. But if you know about the island boy, okay, about the island man, okay, the island man. Let's not forget, you know who I'm talking about, Epi, okay. Apparently, Speaker Mike Johnson, will be meeting with Epstein, or with the victims of the island boy, okay, as House GOP leadership adds symbolic vote to schedule. So he is expected, House Speaker Mike Johnson is expected to meet with some of Epi's victims today as Republicans grapple with how to handle growing pressure to act on the issue, which, by the way, no one's forgotten about the list and the emails and the Lolita Express and the island. No one's forgotten about that. No one has. Okay. But obviously, a lot of other things have kind of jumped in front of it. And of course, let's not forget, they've been saying that they were going to be transparent and put out all this information, and they haven't put out anything. They put out the interview that the Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche had with Ghislaine, but was it enough? Was it actually enough? Apparently tomorrow they're supposed to be having some of the Island Man's victims, okay? Some of the Island Man victims are doing a press conference tomorrow morning. We will be watching that. I'm going to let you know, because this is a case that we're not done. Okay? We're not done until we actually find out everything that, on what's going on. Now, I know some of y'all is still interested in it and some of y'all aren't. Okay? Some of y'all have not been interested in it. Some of y'all have flown off the deep end thinking that it's some big ploy to expose the demis and all that stuff. I think this is a matter of there's very corrupt people on both sides. There are some really bad people on both sides that were at these parties. I think that it's more than just a political side. It's more than just a political bias. I think these people were rocking with each other, doing all kinds of crazy stuff, regardless of their political interests. They had one interest for sure that got them in the same room at the same time to do these nasty, nasty things. Okay? They had one thing in common. Oh, you like that too? I like it too. We're besties, but I don't like you when we go out there and when it's voting season. Okay? But when we're in here, we cool. We besties. That's what I truly think. Okay? Doesn't matter the side. There's a lot of nasty mother lovers out here, y'all. And they are willing to push their political agendas, their political biases aside, just so they can get their rocks off in the most deplorable, disgusting, and monstrous of ways. So, I think it's on everything. I think it's on both sides. I think it's everywhere. And yes, it'll be people who you're like, man, I would buy that man. I would buy whatever he sells me, or I would buy whatever she would sell me. They could be the most diabolical. You never know. But that's just what I think. Yes, I agree, London on TikTok. The world is definitely sick. Okay? And Hawk on YouTube. Yes. Absolutely. I like that. Bars, Hawk. Bars. Bores. All right? So I don't give a damn. Okay? I don't care. Yes, I've had conversations, okay, with all kinds of people. And it's pretty wild what people will say to sleep better at night. When in actuality, people need to stop living that world of denial and realize that there are some really bad people out here that are willing to do very bad things. And they are people that you probably voted for, okay, prayed for, cheered for, wore their T-shirt, etc. It's both sides of the political spectrum, guys. And I will say that until I am proven otherwise. That's what I truly think. So everything when it comes to the island boy, okay, the island boy, okay, remember that thing? Because I'm an island boy. Remember that crap? Okay? Remember that? Now, when it comes to this island man, he had friends of all kinds. He didn't go, oh, well, yeah, you're Democrat. You're liberal. We don't mess with you. Sorry. Okay? Nah. Sorry. You can miss me with the nonsense. Okay? He had friends on so many places, and a lot of them in very low places. Let's see here. I'm checking to see what's up with this. Nope, still nothing. Still nada. Still nothing. Talking about Minnesota. So again, there's a press conference going to be happening tomorrow. We will be watching that for sure because that story and their voices still need to be heard. I'm just letting you know. Just so you know. Okay. So they're having that. Now, here's the thing. Catch up on the headlines. Okay. So one of the other things too, right here, is that Trump is to announce the U.S. Space Command will move their headquarters to Alabama. So again, I truly think it has everything to do with it just being touched or being the decision was made by Biden. So anything Biden touches, he's like, we're gonna smack that and reverse it. Okay, we gonna change that up. Oh, there was a debate or there was a constant tug of war between Colorado and Alabama, and he chose Colorado. We good. We good. We're gonna move it to Alabama. No, because he put it in Colorado, and I have a problem with that. That's what I truly think. We already know he doesn't like Biden. Okay, we already know he does not like Biden. That's not a dig at Trump. That's just facts, baby. And if you think otherwise, if you think, oh, you're biased, no, just watch everything that comes out of his mouth when it comes to talking about the previous administration. He don't like Biden at all. Look at the debate that they had, which was crazy. I'll play golf around circles around you, young old man. Yes, let's just do a tee off. Let's tee off right here. I'm teeing off right in front of you, just teeing off. Come on now. They don't get along. Yeah, I don't know why it's delayed. Okay. But it's delayed right now. It's delayed. Well, come on now. Ice cream. You know what I'm saying? Come on now. I'm going to tee off right here. I'm so teed off. I'm going to tee off right here, right in front of your face. I'm going to tee off. Right? Good God. Get a room, right? So again, I feel like anything he does, he's going to be like, nah, we're going to do the opposite. Okay. He put it over. No, we're going to move that. No, we're going to move that to Alabama now. I don't want any semblance of Biden touching anything. So we're going to move it over here. Okay? President Trump is expected to announce that U.S. Space Command will move its headquarters from Colorado to Alabama during their press conference today, which has not happened yet. It's 1:32, by the way, or 2:32 Eastern Standard Time. U.S. Space Command, which is a joint command and separate from U.S. Space Force military branch, is currently housed in Colorado Springs. The decision to go with Alabama comes after an April report by the Department of Defense Inspector General, who, quote unquote, could not determine the rationale for choosing Colorado. So they're like, it's preposterous. I can't understand. I'm going through the papers, sir, and I just can't understand. It's preposterous that they took this command center and put it in Colorado. Mr. Trump, sir, this is insane. So the headquarters location has been the source of controversy, which is insane. A little bit of background for you guys. Here it is. During Trump's first administration, officials decided to move it to Alabama. During Trump's first administration, officials decided to move it to Alabama. Okay. And a report from the Government Accountability Office, the GAO, in 2022 found that the U.S. Air Force decision-making process had, quote unquote, significant shortfalls in its transparency and credibility. Then, in 2023, Joe Biden, okay, he elected to have that remain in Colorado, angering Alabama lawmakers. Oh, my word. Then, Air Force Security Frank Kendall had recommended to Biden that the headquarters to be moved or recommended it be moved to Alabama in line with the initial Air Force recommendation, according to two U.S. officials. So, former Air Force Secretary Barrett, also chose Huntsville as the preferred location for Spacecom headquarters in 2021. But Biden ultimately followed the advice of the head of Space Command, who argued that the headquarters should remain in Colorado. In a post last week, Alabama Governor Kay Ivey wrote, "Space Command coming to Huntsville? Count on it." Huntsville was already chosen once before as the home for U.S. Space Command, and for good reason. I remain confident that Alabama is the right place for this mission to take root and thrive. Now, I really want to know a solid reason on why they need to be like, why? Like, how is Alabama better than Colorado? To me, I wonder what's the difference. With all due respect, I mean, I'm just reading this and seeing what's going on. I don't understand what the problem is with it being in Colorado. I don't see the problem of it being in Alabama. Like, if it's in Colorado, let it be where it is. You see what I'm saying? Just let it be where it is. But of course, that's something that apparently people are not, I guess the administration is not happy with that, right? So I don't know. Something that's very, very interesting, right? So we're still looking to see about this press conference. And lo and behold, the press conference has not happened. Of course, this is a press conference. Minneapolis is having their own press conference in regards to the tragedy that happened just a little bit ago at the Annunciation School, which, of course, my prayers go out to all the victims. That is insane. I'm still trying to find out what's the story with the mom. I know this is a little bit of a left turn, but we're waiting for this freaking press conference to actually happen, and it's nowhere to be found because right now we are still looking at waves on one channel. I'm just going to show you what they're showing me. Okay, but one thing is for sure, I still want to know what actually happened with that tragedy, especially with the mom. Why did the mom run? Because the mom ran. Okay. Robin Westman's mother ran. She ran. And she was not willing to cooperate with police. She lawyered up. Why would she do that? Why would she do that? Okay. Yes, press conference was supposed to be at 2 April on YouTube, and it has not happened yet. Like I said, we're looking at waves right now. This is them waiting for the press conference. See? President Donald Trump Oval Office announcement right here at the top of the page, or top of the video. So we're still waiting. All right. I mean, shoot, Metamom, Alabama's the best. Colorado's the best. New York is the best. Idaho's all 50 states. All the damn 50 states are the best. To me, I go, why do they have to move the Space Command Center from Colorado to Alabama? What's the purpose of that? Right? What's the purpose of that? But of course, I know somebody out here is going to be, pushing up their imaginary glasses, off the bridge of their nose, and they're going like, well, actually, if you really think about it, sir, the real reason why they need to transport that command center all the way over to Alabama is because I don't care. I just want to know why real quick and move on. Does it change how we make money? Does it change how I butter my bread in the morning? Right? Does it change how I take a dump after I drink my coffee in the morning? I'm just saying, does it change anything for us as people? And when are they going to make that move? When are they going to make that move? Because here's the other thing too. Don't you remember there's a big hunking thing flying through space coming directly to the globe? Okay? coming straight to the globe, then to the world, Earth, okay? Mother Earth. They're not going around. They're going directly to Earth right now. It's like self-illuminating. No one asking these questions? Will this Space Command move be done in time for the alien invasion that's supposed to be coming? I'm just saying. Ain't nobody else wondering the same damn question? No one asking these questions? Am I really alone in this? No one's asking that. No one's asking. Oh, Cicada. Oh, that's so sweet of you. Oh. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Baby, you're a firework. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Pascal is self-illuminating. Thank you. I appreciate that. But back to the conversation. Think about that for a second. Will be moved in time. And where is our Will Smith and our Jeff Goldblum? I'm just saying, we need to have our Will Smiths and our Jeff Goldblums ready. They all need to be suited and booted, okay? And throw out the cigars, bad for your health. But I'm just saying, we all need to be ready, okay? Because that thing is hurling towards Earth. Where is our Will Smiths and our Jeff Goldblums Where they at? Where they at? Just saying. No one has an answer for me? Exactly. Because I can't hear you. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just saying, just something to ask. I'm just checking to see if there's any updates here because I ain't seeing nothing right now. Okay? Not a ting. Yeah, see, the press conference that they just had in Minnesota, okay? Or in Bloomington, Minnesota, they just had that. And now it just goes back to the white. Okay, are we going to get into it? Please tell me we're getting into. No, they're just showing us. They're showing us Chicago. Why do you think that they're showing us Chicago right now? The reason why they're showing us Chicago is, I'm telling you right now, National Guard is already in Chicago. National Guard is already in Chicago. Now, the mayor of Chicago has pushed back, basically saying, "Oh hell no, you better not bring these troops into Chicago. We can handle our own." In fact, they even said in a statement, "Law enforcement, please do not cooperate with the National Guard." I'm not kidding. They literally did say that. Don't even mess. Don't even mess with it. Don't waste your doggone time. Pretty crazy, right? And yet, troops are showing up. We'll see if they're actually going to be deployed. But I have a feeling that's one of the big conversations that's going to be a part of this press conference. If this press conference ever actually freaking happens, y'all. So do me a favor, because, if you're not entertained, then I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry. I wish there was more elation in your heart and in your body. But if you are entertained, please do me a favor. Hit that info. Hit that like button down below. Okay. Hit that reaction button. If you're watching on these other platforms, please and thank you. Okay. There's a lot going on here. But I don't know why they haven't done anything yet, unless they're trying to be dramatic and they're thinking, oh, they're taking so much time because something's going on with Trumpy. I don't know, guys. Let's see what they're saying here.
You, as we await President Trump
Still
to
waiting
make
for
a major
President Trump.
announcement from the Oval Office. We do
Still
have
waiting.
another live
Crazy.
event happening right now in
What
the
else?
U.S. Capitol. This, as the Republican Study Committee is talking about the crackdown on crime in D.C. Let's listen in.
That is why I am proud to support President Trump and my colleagues who are here today in our efforts to return order and law to Washington, D.C. Together, we will advance common sense proposals to restore order, to put victims first, to hold violent criminals accountable, and to stop the revolving door of repeat offenders who cycle back onto the streets.
Oh,
In
dear
just the
Lord.
past 2 weeks since President Trump stepped in,
Almost
we
an
have
hour, guys.
already
Yeah.
seen the dramatic difference that decisive action takes. Carjackings are down. Violent crime is trending down. Federal coordination has strengthened detention and prosecution. And for the first time in a long while, the people of D.C. are beginning to feel safer in their own neighborhoods.
Okay.
That progress proves a simple truth. When you enforce the law, when you keep dangerous criminals off the streets, when you prioritize the safety of families, and when you allow law enforcement officers and prosecutors to do their jobs, you get results.
Now, sorry, I don't mean to pause this, but let me just blow this up. Do you guys not see this guy right here, all the way in the corner with the shades on? What's he hiding? Why is he hiding? Just to be out and proud, baby. It's okay. You are still, I'm sure, loved somewhere. Okay. But this is in DC, by the way. Now, what we're seeing right now is they're doing a little conference outside. Let me turn off these closed captioning things here. But they're saying this is a Republican Study Committee on the DC crime crackdown. So they're saying DC is cleaner and safer than it's ever been ever before. This is what they're doing right now. So now it's make DC safe and great again. And they're holding up these little flyers for those of y'all who can't see what's going on here. So shout out to the TikTok crew. They're holding up these flyers. I don't know why they went to Kinko's and printed these things out, but okay. All right then. And they're holding it out like no one else can see what's read on the podium, because the same thing that they got in their hands that they got from Kinko's, okay, is on the podium. Just in case we didn't read what's on the podium, they're holding it in their hands, smiling and proud. So that's what's happening right now. Yeah. Yep, that's happening. Now, let me just say this before we continue on. Okay, and we don't really need to hear all this crap. So I'm gonna skip ahead. See, they're all like, yes, we're doing great and everything's so safe out here. We're so proud of this. Thank you to the National Guard for doing exactly what you were meant to be here for, keeping the streets safe and making DC great again. Thank you so much. That's what's happening right now. That's fine. That's fine. Do your thing, baby. Do your thing. Wow, it's so, what's crazy is even behind it, because you guys don't see this, but if you go to the YouTube channel, you'll see it. But behind this, look what's going on behind. Take a look at this. So apparently they're starting at 3. So in 13 minutes, all right, I got time. We got time. We gonna talk. We gonna talk. If you don't like it, then I'm sorry. Okay, but I'm trying to keep you guys entertained as we continue and wait. All right. Sorry for the humor if you're offended. I'm so sorry. Okay, it's just humor. It's just trying to keep you guys entertained. Is this the real thing? Wait, hold on.
For this important announcement, 7 years in the making. As you know, this has been going on for a long period of time. And I am thrilled to report that the U.S. Space Command headquarters will move to the beautiful locale of a place called Huntsville, Alabama, forever to be known from this point forward as Rocket City. Okay, so Huntsville, Alabama. We love Alabama. I only won it by about 47 points.
He's alive, everybody.
I don't think that influenced my decision, though, right?
He's alive.
Right? But we had a lot of competition for this, and Alabama's getting it. Huntsville in particular. So congratulations, everybody.
He looks
Katie,
not good, though.
congratulations. This will result in more than 30,000 Alabama jobs and probably much more than that, and hundreds of millions of dollars of investment. And that's billions, because it can't be millions. It's billions and billions of dollars. Most importantly, this decision will help America defend and dominate the high frontier, as they call it. I want to thank Secretary Pete Hegseth. He's doing a fantastic job. And Secretary of the Air Force, Troy Mink. Troy, thank you very much. Great job you're doing, Troy. This is such a big deal. This is one that everybody wanted to know. What are you doing? I also want to thank Senators Katie Britt, and I want to give my condolences. Her grandmother just passed away. She was 100, right?
100, and she loves you, Mr. President.
Well, and she was very proud of you.
Thank you very much.
Very, very proud of you. So thank you, Katie.
Wonderful woman.
She must have been. To produce you indirectly, I can tell you she had to be. Tommy Tuberville, who's a great coach. And I won't say anything about what happened with Alabama football this weekend.
Let's leave that out.
But you're not used to that, right? You're not used to that. But Tommy, Auburn won, that's right. They did. So you're happy. Tommy's been a great senator, and a fantastic guy all around. He was also a tremendous coach. House Armed Services Committee Chair Mike Rogers. Thank you, Mike. Where's Mike? Mike, thank you very much. Doing great, Mike. Representatives Barry Moore, all great friends, Robert Adderholt, Gary Palmer, and Dale Strong. Thank you all very much, fellas. Appreciate it. In my first term, I created a thing called Space Force. So important. We were losing the race in space very badly to China and to Russia. And now we're far and away number one in space. And reestablish Space Com with a mission to protect American space assets and detect any threat to our homeland. We initially selected Huntsville for the Space Com headquarters, yet those plans were wrongfully obstructed by the Biden administration. And as you know, they moved them to a different locale. And today we're moving forward with what we want to do and the place that we want to have this. And this will be there for hopefully hundreds of years. That's where it's going to be. I will say I want to thank Colorado. The problem I have with Colorado, one of the big problems, they do mail-in voting. They went to all mail-in voting. So they have automatically crooked elections. And we can't have that. When a state is for mail-in voting, that means they want dishonest elections, because that's what that means. So that played a big factor also. In Huntsville, Space Com will play a key role in building the Golden Dome, as you know. That's going to be a big thing. Everybody wants to be a participant in it. Missile Defense Shield, we're going to be having a Golden Dome that the likes of which nobody's ever seen before. The finest, the best. And by the way, Canada called. They want to be a part of it, and that'll be great. But Canada wants very much to be included in that, and we're going to work something out with them, I hope. It will also ensure that our technological capabilities, of which we're way ahead of anybody else, there's nobody close, remain unmatched long into the future. So I'd like to ask Secretary Hegseth to say a few words. He was very much a part of it. And really, everybody behind me was. Every one of these people would call me and lobby me. I said, Katie, I don't want to talk to you anymore. I know what you want. She said, that's right, sir. That's what I want. And they got their way. So I just want to congratulate. These are really special people. They're politicians in many ways, but they're great patriots, I think even more so than politicians. So they fought very hard to get it, and it's an honor to give it to Huntsville. Pete, say a few words, please.
Yeah,
thank you, Mr. President. As usual, right place, right time, for the right reason. In your first administration, you established the Space Force at a time when we knew we had to be looking to that domain of space. You also reestablished SpaceCom to ensure that priority was put in place. And you, through the Air Force, independently identified that Huntsville, Alabama was the right place to put it. For other reasons, in the next administration under Biden, they decided to move it somewhere else. Well, during that time, the DOD Inspector General, the Government Affairs Office, they did their own assessments. And where did they say SpaceCom should go? Huntsville, Alabama. So what you're doing today, Mr. President, is restoring it to precisely where it should be based on what the Space Force, the Air Force, your leadership believes will give us strategic advantage in the future. That is Huntsville, Alabama. We are way ahead in space, but this will ensure we stay leaps and bounds ahead because that's the most important domain. Whoever controls the skies will control the future of warfare. And Mr. President, today you're ensuring that happens. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Katie, would you like to say something?
Mr. President, we are grateful for your leadership on this and restoring Space Command to its rightful home in Huntsville, Alabama. This delegation has worked together, both chambers, both parties, to make sure that Huntsville was the place that Space Command called home. As was mentioned, obviously the Biden administration chose to make this political. What we want to do is put the safety and security of Americans first. We want to make sure that our war fighter is put first, and we want to make sure that America continues to lead. And today, Mr. President, you've allowed that to happen. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Tommy, please.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. This is a great day for our country, not just for our state of Alabama. We need help in our military. We need to catch up. And as Secretary has said, we're not behind in space, but we know where we're at, and we need to expound on that. Now, this move will save the taxpayers $480 million. It's not going to cost more. It's going to cut $480 million. We have the plans intact. It'll be behind a secure wall in Huntsville, Alabama, at Redstone Arsenal. We have 40,000 people there. We have the FBI there. We have missile defense there. We have NASA, Blue Origin, and SpaceX. It is the perfect place for Space Command. I would tell you today, and I've spoke with the president for the last 3 or 4 years about this. If I thought it needed to go somewhere else because I understand the security of our country, I'd be for that. But the best place for Space Command is Huntsville, Alabama, because what we have and what it means to this country is going to be so important. So thank you, Mr. President, for this, and we look forward to building a huge Space Command and having the Donald J. Trump Space Command Center in Huntsville, Alabama. Yeah.
Oh, wow. So it's going to be called the Donald J. Trump Space Command Center.
Sure. Well, Mr. President, thank you. I'll be very brief here. I lobbied the president hard to put it in Ohio, but he said these people behind us, these Alabamas, are just too powerful and too persuasive. And so it's in Alabama, but as Tommy said, this is exactly the right place for Space Force and Space Command. I think Americans ought to appreciate the fact that you can't win the battle of the future unless you control the skies. The cyber security, the communications, the entire infrastructure of the battle in the 21st century will be in space. So it was a visionary move in the first administration for the president to set up Space Force. And I think an equally visionary move to make sure that Space Force is right where it should be in Huntsville, Alabama. Thank you, sir.
You know, I think...
Gentlemen, anybody want to say anything? Would you like to say?
Mr. President, another promise made, another promise kept. You think about it, Redstone Arsenal is critical to national security. The president said when you were the 45th president, let's do what's right for national security. And today, that's exactly what we're doing. It's not because of this or that. It's because it's right for national security. You think of the 21 categories that were evaluated to determine what was best for national security. All indicators pointed back to Huntsville, Alabama, and Redstone Arsenal. We have the right people at the right place at the right time. Mr. President, on behalf of the people of the 5th Congressional District and all of Alabama, thank you for keeping your word. Absolutely.
Thank you very much. Anybody?
Anybody else?
President, I want to say thank you. And thank you for doing this because it was the right thing to do. When they looked at all the numbers, Huntsville was the place to go. And like you say, it was unfortunately pulled out, but you made it right. So I want to just say thank you again for a grateful nation, and to the state of Alabama. We're very grateful. Thank you, and God bless.
Very interesting. I'm wondering why.
Thank you, Mr. President. Throughout history, militaries has always understood that whoever could hold the high ground held the advantage. Space is the ultimate high ground. And what we're doing with moving the Space Command to Huntsville is absolutely critical to our maintaining dominance in that sphere. And it goes hand in hand with what we're trying to do with the Golden Dome and missile defense to defend against anyone else who tries to enter that sphere. So thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. Please. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. And obviously, national defense is a huge issue. And when you look at the scores, Alabama was #1. And for political reasons, it was moved out of our state. But Mr. President, thank you for making priorities the defense and the warfighter and the safety of this nation. And in the big, beautiful bill, that Golden Dome will be built in Huntsville, Alabama, and we're grateful for that. Thank you.
Listen, as chairman of the Armed Services Committee, I care very much about what's most important for our national security. And the president held a nationwide competition to determine where we should have this command. If y'all remember, at the end of that competition, where Alabama came in first, there was a lot of complaints from the other states who did not place well. He said, we'll do it over with new criteria to accommodate your concerns. Alabama came in first in that second competition. His Secretary of the Air Force reviewed the results, said it was fair, and the president named Huntsville. It was the Biden administration that decided to make it political, even though his own Secretary of the Air Force said it was a fair competition and it should be in Huntsville. So I want you to know I appreciate this president standing up and being strong and saying he's going to make this right and put it where it rightfully belongs. That's Huntsville, Alabama.
Thank you very much. Good job. So thank you all very much. You are going to leave me alone now. You're not going to call me anymore and talk about this subject, right? You promise? They'll start something else. But I just want to congratulate you. It's a very big deal. When you come out and when you leave the room, you'll see that we just, over the last few minutes, literally shot out a boat, a drug-carrying boat, a lot of drugs in that boat. And you'll be seeing that and you'll be reading about that. It just happened moments ago. And our great general, head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, who's been so incredible, including what took place in Iran, knocking out potential nuclear power for a long time to come. I think within a month they would have had it if we didn't do what we did. But he gave us a little bit of a briefing, and you'll see. And there's more where that came from. We have a lot of drugs pouring into our country, coming in for a long time. And we just, these came out of Venezuela and coming out very heavily from Venezuela. A lot of things are coming out of Venezuela. So we took it out, and you'll get to see that after this meeting is over. Do you have any questions, please? Yeah, please.
Senator Cumberville talked about the cost savings associated with this announcement. Can you talk about the strategic benefits by having Space Force Command headquarters in Huntsville?
Well, it just works because we have so much else there. And having a central, you could call it a central command, but it really is a command station. Also, even locationally, where it is, and when you think about flying distances, if you can save a half an hour as fast as some of these planes go and things go, and even the rockets go, if you can save by having the best location. So we went out, as you know, to experts, and we had 4 different groups of experts. They all said this was the best location. I also loved it from the standpoint, I know the people of Alabama, they are great people, work hard, and there's no games, and they're very proud of it. And I would say they fought harder for it than anybody else also. A lot of states, 5 states really wanted it, but they wanted it more. And I kid you not when I say that these people, they spoke to me a lot. That's all they wanted to talk about. They didn't want to talk about the weather. They only wanted to talk about moving to this location, moving to Alabama, Huntsville in particular. So we're honored to do it. They really wanted it badly, and they got it. Peter?
President Trump, something completely different, but about a big viral social media trend over the weekend. How did you find out over the weekend that you were dead? You see that?
No.
People didn't see you for a couple of days. 1.3 million user engagements as of Saturday morning about your demise.
They're talking about what happened this weekend.
You know, I have heard, it's sort of crazy, but last week I did numerous news conferences, all successful. They went very well, like this is going very well. And then I didn't do any for 2 days, and they said, there must be something wrong with him. Biden wouldn't do them for months. You wouldn't see him. And nobody ever said there was ever anything wrong with him. And we know he wasn't in the greatest of shape. No, I heard that. I get reports. Now, you knew I did an interview that lasted for about an hour and a half with somebody, and everybody saw that was on one of your competitors. I did numerous shows and also did a number of truths, long truths, I think pretty poignant truths. No, I was very active over the weekend. They also knew I went out to visit some people at the club that I own pretty nearby on the Potomac River. And no, I've been very active actually over the weekend. I didn't hear that one. That's pretty serious stuff. Well, it's fake news. It's just it's so fake. That's why the media has so little credibility.
He didn't know about
I knew they were saying, like, is he okay? How's he feeling? What's wrong? I said, I just left. And it's also sort of a longer weekend, it's Labor Day weekend. So I would say a lot of people know. I was very active this Labor Day. I had heard that, but I didn't hear it to that extent. Go ahead, Peter.
We know that this country has a huge problem with school shootings. You've said that you're open to sending the National Guard pretty much anywhere. Would you ever consider sending an armed National Guardsman to every school?
Well, we have a big problem with school shooting, but we also have thousands and thousands of schools that run perfectly. They talk about you can do things construction-wise, and that's really I think nobody knows more about construction than me. You can build the construction doors. You can build what they call safety doors, where they lock on the outside, the inside, and every place else. Well, but if one of these lunatics happens to get through, then the police can't get in. Then they're looking for keys all over the place, and it takes a lot of disadvantages to doing, spending billions and billions of dollars and actually making it safer in some way for some of these lunatics that we're dealing with. But I don't think so. I've thrown out the concept. We have great teachers that love our children. The parents love the children. Teachers love the children too. And if you took a small percentage of those teachers that were in the military, that were distinguished in the military, that were in the National Guard, et cetera, and you let them carry. That's something that a lot of people like. I sort of liked it.
Teachers carrying
have to be studied, but they're trained. They know about weapons. You can't do it with every teacher because most teachers don't know, and But I always thought that would be an alternative. But it just we've had a lot of instances. Other countries have also. They have different kinds of problems than we have, but we do have. There's something going on. And it's a bad thing. Yes, please.
Have you spoken with President Putin in the past week? Have you spoken with President Putin in the past week?
Yeah, I don't want to. I have learned things that will be very interesting. I think in the next few days you'll find out.
Consequences if there isn't some type of announcement of a meeting with President Putin and President Zelensky? And what could those consequences be?
We're going to see what happens. We're going to see what they do and what happens. I'm watching it very closely. Last week, they lost 7,000 between the two countries, 7,313 soldiers, to be somewhat exact, for no reason whatsoever. And they're Russian and they're Ukrainian, but, they're soldiers. I want to see it end. Yeah.
Have you decided you're definitely going to send National Guard troops to Chicago?
I didn't say when, but the answer is, look, Chicago's very interesting because I watched Pritzker get up and say we don't need help, we're safe. But 2 weeks ago, they had 6 people murdered, and they had 24 people hit by bullets. Last week, as you know, it was 7 people, 24 people hit, and 7 people died. And then over the last 2 days, that was the crown jewel. They had, I guess, 9 or 10 killed, and 50 hit with bullets. And you have this governor get up, who's a terrible governor. Probably he and Gavin Newsom would be probably the 2 worst and most naive. They're naive. Either they're naive or they're very untruthful. And he'll say, we don't want any protection. We don't need. So in the last 3 weeks, he's lost almost 20 people killed. There's no place in the world, including you can go to Afghanistan, you can go to places that you would think of. They don't even come close to this. Chicago is a hellhole right now. Baltimore is a hellhole right now. Parts of Los Angeles are terrible. If we didn't put out the fires, and I mean the other fires, the bullet fires, they didn't do a good job with it. They should have had the water coming down, like I said. We had to release the water. We had to go in and release the water to LA. It's so badly run. But if I didn't send the National Guard into Los Angeles, I would be making an announcement today. I'd be talking about Huntsville, and I'd simultaneously be saying, by the way, the Olympics is not coming to Los Angeles. If we didn't do that, And even the sheriff, the top law enforcement person in Los Angeles said, we could not have handled it without them. So that's what he said.
Make your mind up on Chicago, though?
Well, we're going in. I didn't say when. We're going in. When you lose, look, I have an obligation. This isn't a political
So it is
thing.
indeed going to happen.
I have an obligation. When
National Guard in
we lose,
Chicago.
when 20 people are killed
just
over the
didn't say
last
when.
2.5 weeks,
It's going to happen.
and
He doesn't say when.
75 are shot with bullets. So let me tell you a little story about a place called D.C., District of Columbia, right here where we are. It's now a safe zone. We have no crime. It's in such great shape. You can go and actually walk with your children, your wife, your husband. You can walk right down the middle of the street. You're not going to be shot, Peter. You're safe. Everyone likes you anyway. They probably wouldn't do it. But it's so dangerous. And there are people in this audience that you've suffered greatly. There are people in this audience that have been mugged and hurt badly, and they don't want to talk about it. Maybe you were very brave in talking about it. You made quite an impression on a lot of people. I appreciate it. But there were other people in this room that have been hurt very badly just walking down the street in D.C. Washington, D.C. is a safe zone right now. It's a safe city. The restaurants are open. They're booming. You can't get a restaurant. New restaurants are announcing that they're going to be open. This took place in 12 days. Now it's 15 days, but 3 days ago, it became what's known as a safe zone. It's a safe city. And this city was really bad, really, really bad. We took 1,600 people out, hardcore criminals that will not be coming back anytime soon. And we're very proud of it. You know, to have our nation's capital lose every week, you know, it was like years, many years where every single week, somebody was killed for many, many, many consecutive weeks. This went on for years. And then we had last week, it was announced that nobody was killed last week. And I made that announcement in front of a very distinguished leader of a country. And I'm saying proudly, ladies and gentlemen, nobody was killed in Washington, D.C. this week. He looked at me like, what's that all about? I say, yeah, we have a little bit of a crime problem. And we don't have a crime problem in Washington anymore. And the mayor has been very helpful. And the police commission has been very helpful. And it's been a great team. And I would love to have Governor Pritzker call me. I'd gain respect for him and say, we do have a problem. And we'd love you to send in the troops. Because you know what? The people, they have to be protected. I saw today on one of your networks, not a friendly network, except really the opposite, I would say, very unfriendly network. And they interviewed about 12 people on this morning. Most of them were African American, they were black. And they were saying, please, please, please let the president send in. These were people from Chicago. Please, we need help. We need help. We can't walk outside. We're petrified. If the governor of Illinois would call me up, I would love to do it. Now, we're going to do it anyway. We have the right to do it because I have an obligation to protect this country. And that includes Baltimore. I saw where Governor Moore was asking me to take a walk down the street of Baltimore. Well, Baltimore is a very unsafe place. It's rated number 4 in the city, one of the most unsafe places anywhere in the world. But, you know, we took care. This was a beautiful thing that happened in Washington because we showed that it could be done. And this wasn't just sending big, strong guys, and they are big and they are strong. You know, we had a great decision from the Supreme Court that had to do with sort of talent. It had to do with you are put down based on merit. You can hire based on merit. So merit for a soldier or for a policeman is strong, physically fit, having a certain ability, not a person that is woke and got the job through woke, but wasn't strong enough to lift a gun out of the holster, et cetera, et cetera. No, I looked at the police. As you know, last week I went over, we had a meeting there had to be 300 people, and they were all very impressive looking. And when the bad guys see them, they're not going to do a thing. And so I'm very proud of Washington. It serves as a template, and we're going to do it elsewhere. But Chicago is certainly going to be high. I would love to have him call. I would love the governor of Illinois. I'd be honored to take his call. All he has to do is say, sir, we need help. It's out of control. And everyone knows it is. He's not kidding anyone. I would love to have, I would say, Governor Moore call, because I watched him over the weekend trying to explain that Baltimore, what they need is housing. No, they don't need housing. They need to get rid of the criminals. These are hardcore criminals. You know, we took many people off the streets of Washington, D.C. They're hardcore. They're not going to be good. In 10 years, in 20 years, in 2 years, they're going to be criminals. They were born to be criminals, frankly. They were born to be criminals, and they're tough and mean, and they'll cut your throat, and they won't even think about it the next day. They won't even remember that they did it. And we're not going to have those people. Washington, D.C. is now a safe zone. It's a safe place, and you can walk, Katie, you can walk right down the street with, by the way, one of the biggest human beings I've ever seen, which is her husband. He was a football player for like 11 years in the NFL. He's a big person. But big doesn't mean anything when they have guns and when they have knives and everything else that they have, right? But you can walk right down the street, even by yourself, and you're totally safe. Washington, D.C. is a great thing. Yes, ma'am, please.
Calling on Democratic leaders across the country to work with you on crime. Do you see your efforts here in D.C., including, for example, working with Mayor Bowser here as a model for bringing more bipartisanship in matters not only with crime, but also issues that matter to everyday American people's lives?
So Mayor Bowser's been great. She could have taken the thing, oh, well, and then after I clean it up, they'll take credit for it. You know what they do is they take credit. Like, we cleaned up Los Angeles. We did a great job there. And it was overwhelming what was going on. And again, the police chief made a statement that we could not have done, there's no way they could handle it. You saw what was happening out there. It was going to be a disaster. We stopped it cold. If we didn't do that, would have been a very sad day. And you know, remember, we have the Olympics, we have the World Cup, we have all these things coming, and we have 250, all of these things coming. But I watched Newsom get up and say he's doing a great. He's not. We're the ones that did it, and that's okay. Whatever it takes. But the main thing is we. But he got up and said we did it. Well, he didn't want us there, and he's going to need us again because it's starting to form again. I see it. It's starting to form again. You know, we have to maintain. It's like maintenance on an airplane. You can buy it, but you have to maintain it. And if you don't maintain it, a good plane becomes very unsafe very quickly. So. It's an honor to do it. It's a lot of presidents wouldn't do what I'm doing. I don't need this heat. But when I watched television last night and I'm watching the news and I see that 9 people were killed in Chicago and 54 were badly wounded with bullets, I say, that's not this country. We have to do something. And I do say this. I say this very much. I'm not speaking to anybody but them right now. I would love to receive calls from governors and mayors saying they need help. We'll help them. We have a lot of people. We have a great force. We have a great military force. You know, Pete will tell you that when I was running for office, and this was a big headline, I think, you know, probably got me a couple of votes, but you couldn't sign people in the military. Nobody wanted to join the military, the Army, Air Force, the Navy, Marines, Space Force, Coast Guard. We never forget Coast Guard because they've done such a great job. Never. But nobody wanted to join any of them. We were way below
you can see
what we wanted. Every single one. The closest was the Marines, whatever that is. You'll explain that to me. But the closest was the Marines. But every service was way down, way down. And then I got elected, and our country is the hottest country anywhere in the world right now. Everybody's talking about the USA. They're talking about the job that we're doing. Everybody, we have the best economy. We have a very, very important decision being made by the Supreme Court because our country is the richest, the strongest, the most powerful. But if for some reason, some liberal court, I'm talking about the court that just ruled, where even an Obama judge voted in favor of us, which I gave him a compliment yesterday, as you know. I said that took great courage. But it's a liberal court, and it's going up to the Supreme Court, who I think have been incredible people. I think they've made very wise decisions. But the tariff question, because without the tariffs, this country is in serious, serious trouble. We've taken in almost $17 trillion of investment is coming in. Most of it is coming because of tariffs. And if for some reason somebody wanted to be politically correct, I actually think it's unpolitically correct. I think politically correct is to approve it, because there's nothing so popular as what's happened to our country. Our country is doing so well. But we had a liberal court gave us a very shocking ruling. And that ruling is basically saying that the trillions of dollars that are pouring into our country, putting us in a position like no country is anywhere in the world, that they'd like to see us that taken away. By the way, a lot of the people behind that lawsuit, that particular, are from foreign countries, I might add.
There's a video that is circulating online now of the White House where a window is open to the residents upstairs and somebody is throwing a bag out the window. Have you
Somebody threw
No, that's
out the window.
probably AI generated.
So
Actually, you can't open the windows. You know why? They're all heavily armored and bulletproof.
a fake video.
Well, it's got to be, because I know every window up there. The last place I'd be doing it is that, because there's cameras all over the place, right? Including yours. No, but every window, I've never seen a window that's, in fact, my wife was complaining about it the other day. She said, love to have a little fresh air come in, but you can't. They're bulletproof. And number one, they're sealed. And number two, each window weighs about 600 pounds. You have to be pretty strong to open them up. No, that has to be. Where was the window? Let me see.
So they're asking about a video that went viral today. There's a video of somebody throwing something out the window of the White House, like a bag or something out the window of the White House. He's saying that video is fake and that it's AI.
Those windows are sealed. Those windows they're all sealed. You can't open them.
Wild, though.
It's the kind of thing they do. And one of the problems we have with AI, it's both good and bad. If something happens really bad, just blame AI. But also they create things, it works both ways. If something happens that's really bad, maybe I'll have to just blame AI. But there's truth to it, because I see so many phony things. I saw something as I was growing up, from the time I was a baby till now. I said, who did that? It was AI generated. So it's a little bit scary, to be honest with you. But those windows are all very heavily sealed.
Thank you, Mr. President. I know
things are heavily, those windows are heavily sealed. Wow.
Okay. Well, they ruled against our country, the court, and they ruled against us before. It's a very liberal court. Well, it certainly is. It certainly is.
In fact, it was along ideological lines, 7-4.
Well, except that we actually got one of the Obama judges that was appointed by President Obama voted in favor of the tariffs, because he felt it was imperative for our country to thrive and survive even. And I gave him credit. I said, you know what? That took a lot of courage for him to do it, because you don't see that often.
So my question is, I suspect you're going to appeal that all the way to the Supreme Court.
Well, we already have, yeah. In fact, we're doing something else. We're going to be going to the Supreme Court, we think, tomorrow, because we need an early decision. I mean, look, the financial fabric of our country, we're a rich, incredible country right now. And we're able to, other countries use tariffs on us for years, and we never did. I did a lot during my first term, but then we had COVID and we had to focus on other things. You couldn't be tariffing Italy, Spain, France, as they were dying by the thousands and millions. But we did with China, and China paid us billions and billions of dollars. And I started the process, but then I had to end it a little bit because of COVID. We focused on that. But no, it's a very important decision. And frankly, if they make the wrong decision, it would be a devastation for our country. We've taken in trillions of dollars. And by the way, all these countries signed agreements. As an example, they're all happy. Everybody's happy. But some whack job put in a lawsuit. It went before a very liberal court, and the liberal court ruled, it was 11, they ruled 7-4, with one of the most liberal of them all voting in our favor, because they're patriots. I think I give tremendous credit to that judge. And now it's going to the Supreme Court. Now we're going to be asking for early admittance. We're going tomorrow, and we're going to ask for an expedited ruling, because when you look at the stock market's down today, the stock market's down because of that, because the stock market needs the tariffs. They want the tariffs. If you look at AI, all of those, all of that money that's going to be invested, trillions and trillions of dollars, the biggest thing bigger than the internet, I suspect. It's the internet plus 3 or 4 other things combined. We are leading very substantially with AI. We're leading because of tariffs. We're leading because of talent, and this is where they'd like to be. But without the tariffs, we wouldn't have a chance because we wouldn't be able to protect those investments of the companies coming in. So if you took away tariffs, we could end up being a third world country. That's how big the ruling. So we're asking for an expedited ruling.
As a backstop to that, President, you have a Republican-controlled Congress. You control the House. You control the Senate.
Yeah, but we don't have 60 votes. We don't have 60 votes. I'd love to do that. Oh, if we had 60 senators, if we got the 60 votes, we would get them. But we need 60 votes, and we need, a certain number in the House. I think we'd get, I don't know, we have about 5 of them here. Would everybody agree with me on tariffs? Without tariffs, we're a different country. We have taken in so much money. And here's the thing. We signed a deal with Japan. They're paying us hundreds of billions of dollars. We signed a deal with South Korea. We signed a deal with the European Union. We signed a deal with Europe. And those countries are paying us $950 billion. And they're happy about it. They're okay. As one of them said, it's amazing that we got away with it so long. One of my friends, a leader of one of the countries, and they're fine with it. They all signed. If that ruling ever went against us, I guess we'd have to give back hundreds of billions. We would have to give trillions and trillions of dollars back to countries that have been ripping us off for the last 35 years. And I can't imagine it happening. On a legal basis, they have no legal basis whatsoever. But on a common sense basis, it would destroy America. Okay.
You talked about controlling the sky. On Sunday, the satellite signal of Ursula von der Leyen's plane was led.
With Ursula? Well, she had an interesting event. She's a tremendous woman. And so what are you asking me about her?
NATO is concerned about an attitude about this.
True, NATO is concerned about it. Well, nobody knows where it came from, but they did take away her ability to use a phone. Sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes that could happen to me. I'd be very happy.
Mr. President, reducing the tariffs on India from 50%.
What does that mean?
Are you considering taking away some of the tariffs that you've imposed on India?
No, we get along with India very well, but India you have to understand.
Yeah, what's going on with India?
For many years, it was a one-sided relationship. Only now, since I came along, and because of the power that we have with tariffs, India was charging us tremendous tariffs, about the highest in the world. They were about the highest in the world, number one. And we therefore weren't doing much business with India, but they were doing business with us because we weren't charging them. Foolishly, we weren't charging them. So they would send in massive, everything they made, they'd send it in, pour it into our country. Therefore, it wouldn't be made here, which is a negative. But we would not send in anything because they were charging us 100% tariffs. And, I'll give you an example. Harley Davidson couldn't sell into India. There was a 200% tariff on a motorcycle. So what happens? Harley Davidson went to India and built a motorcycle plant. And now they don't have to pay tariffs. Same thing as us. So what we're doing is literally thousands of companies are coming into the U.S., car companies, AI, but, more traditionally car companies. We have so many car company factories under construction or being designed right now. And they're coming from China. They're coming from Mexico, I must tell you, and they're coming from Canada. A lot of them coming from Canada. But they're coming into our country because they want to build here. And they want to build here for 2 reasons. Number one, they'd like to be here. And number 2, the tariffs are protecting them. And number 3, they want to avoid paying tariffs. When they build their cars here, they don't have any tariffs to pay. When you build here, you don't have any tariffs.
Mr. President,
Go ahead.
in light of the Minnesota shooting last
Interesting.
week, the Department of Homeland Security is now awarding more than $100 million to hundreds of faith organizations across the country to help them ramp up security. What's your vision for further protecting religious liberty across the country amid incidents of threats? And
So religious liberty is so important. And we're talking about every religion now. And we're doing things on that nobody else has ever done. And we're going to be having a big announcement in about 2 weeks on that question. Yeah, please.
On Space Command, sir, are you concerned that people may not be willing to relocate from Colorado to Alabama?
No, I'm not worried. Then we'll get somebody else. I mean, the problem with Colorado is they have a very corrupt voting system.
He just said
Look,
he
I have
said that
so
out
many
loud.
friends in Colorado.
Okay.
Anytime you have mail-in voting, you have corrupt elections. Very simple. It's very simple. Even Jimmy Carter said it with his commission. They set up a commission with him and Scoop Jackson and some people, highly regarded people. And they said the finding was, if you have mail-in voting, you will have corrupt elections. Well, your radical left governor decided that he was going to have all mail-in voting in Colorado. Once you have all mail-in voting, and for whatever reason, the Democrats cheat. And they cheat like, they're not stupid. That's the only thing. They're no good on policy. They're no good on management. They're no good at government. But they're great at cheating. And they stick together, too. I give them credit for sticking together. Please.
Obviously, this is a big win for national security, moving this to Alabama. We've all can agree with that.
Big.
Is there any idea of the economic impact this has on the state and on that local area?
Katie, do you want to answer that?
Look, I mean,
Please go.
this is going to be tremendous. I mean, the state of Alabama, what we've seen through this process is the worst of Washington. We've seen politics get in the way of what is best for the warfighter, what's best for national security. And the state of Alabama is about to show the country the best among us. So we know the economic impact is going to be tremendous. There at Redstone Arsenal, we're proud to house everything from the FBI to headquarters there for material command to a number of things. We obviously have NASA with Marshall Space Flight Center. And so this naturally fits within. When you look at the decision matrix that they placed in front of us, that's why we ranked so high, is because we have the resources necessary and the ability to build out quickly to meet the needs in front of us. As far as economic impact, it would be tremendous. Does anybody have an exact number? 1,600 jobs. With 3,000 spinoff. Look at this. This is teamwork right here. So we are really proud, and the people of Alabama are ready to get to work.
And I've got a housing question, if you could, just for a second, Mr.
Yeah,
President.
please.
Owning a home and going about the American dream seems like it's out of touch for a lot of Americans. Just recently, you pushed out a statement about addressing an emergency housing situation.
That's right. We're thinking about doing that.
Yeah, can you just?
Well, we need a little help from the Fed. We have a man named Jerome Too Late Powell. You probably heard of him. He's too late. He's way too late. And the economy is so strong that it's pushing through that. Normally, it would have been much tougher, but we're doing so well that we're pushing through it. But it makes it very hard for people to get mortgages because too late is too late. Very simple. He's too late. And probably political, whatever. He wasn't too late before the election. Before the election, he was cutting rates, right? Because he was hoping that, I guess, Biden would get in, or that Kamala would. He was a big Biden guy. Explain that one. And then he was a Kamala person, but he was hoping, I guess, she'd win, I guess. I don't know. It didn't work out too well. But yeah, we need a very serious cut. You know, I think that if you look back many decades ago, the United States was always the lowest, even if they were doing badly. The United States was, because without the United States, everything in the world would die. It's true. It's so powerful. It's so big. And I made it really big in the first 4 years. Then it started to degenerate with what this Biden administration did. But we built it up to a level that I never thought we could be at this quickly. We're the hottest, we're the best financially. The money coming in is so big because of tariffs and other things, but because of tariffs. Tariff gets us even those other things. Plus, it gets us great negotiating. I settled 7 wars, and numerous of those wars were because of trade. And numerous of the trade deals that I made were because of tariffs. It gives you a great negotiating ability. If that ability were taken away from us by a liberal court acting on essentially foreign nations, asking to get help from the United States government, when they've been doing this to us for 40 years, that's why we have $38 trillion in debt. We won't have it for long if they let us, if they allow us to do what everybody knows we should be able to do. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, another Biden era action that you're now reversing is that you signed a deal last week to make federal buildings adopt and embrace classical architecture styles again. Can you talk to us about why you do that, and also what's your vision?
Well, we want to see beautiful buildings. Now, it's in the eye of the beholder. I've seen architectural reviews over the years. I'm an expert at it. I've gotten a lot of great reviews, but I've seen buildings that I didn't think were very good get great reviews, and I've seen great buildings get bad reviews. So, but it's just a standard. We want to have a good standard. We're building something here, for 150 years, they wanted a ballroom at the White House. We're doing something at the highest level using great architects and all. And, it's very exciting. But we have a lot of interesting things happening architecturally in D.C. And D.C. is like a different place. And, even the contractor said, sir, we walked down today, we feel like much safer. It's like a different place. Washington, D.C. is great. Now, we're going to also beautify it. We're going to put a topping on the roads. We're not going to rip them apart and take 4 years to build a road that was exactly the same by the time you build it. But we're going to put toppings. We're going to put new medians in. We're going to get the graffiti off. We're going to put tiles up in the tunnels where the tiles are missing. And we'll do the whole tunnel instead of, a little area where you see new tiles, old tiles that never look too good, but they could use it. They've been up for 50 years. They've served their duty. But we're going to make this within about a 20-mile radius from the White House. We're going to have this place spick and span. It's going to be crime-free, and it's going to be spick and span. You'll be proud of Washington again. Go ahead, please.
Sir, China's having a massive military parade that President Putin and Kim Jong-un will be attending. Do you interpret that as a challenge to this? And are you concerned at all about those countries?
No.
Trying to be some sort of counterweight?
Not at all. China needs us, and I have a very good relationship with President Xi, as you know. But China needs us much more than we need them. No, I don't see that at all, no. And I had actually a very good meeting with President Putin a couple of weeks ago. We'll see if anything comes out of it. If it doesn't, we'll take a different stance.
Everyone March today in California ruled that your deployment of National Guard troops to Los Angeles was illegal. Do you have any response?
Well, it was a radical left judge. But very importantly, what did you not tell me in that question or statement that you made? Pretty much of a statement, I think.
Well, I was asking for the response.
No, you didn't say what the judge said, though. The judge said, but you can leave the 300 people that you already have in place. They can continue to be in place. That's all we need. But why didn't you put that as part of your statement? Because the same judge ruled exactly as you said, except the judge said that you could leave the 300 people that you already have in place. They can stay, they can remain, they can do what they have to do. Thank you very much, everybody. We appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right, guys. So now you see for yourself. You saw for yourself.
Thank you, guys.
Okay. You saw for yourself. They're trying to get everybody the F out of there. Now, here's what it is, okay? Yeah. He good. He looks tired. I will say that. He looks tired. But I mean, I will say this too. Are we? I feel like any person that is running any person that runs and ends up running the country, I don't think you're ever going to sleep. You know what I mean? I think it's nonstop for 4 years. You don't sleep. So very interesting, right? Of course, there's still a lot of things that haven't been answered. There's other things like the list, the files, stuff like that just keep on getting avoided. I'm going to be real. Those things are getting avoided like crazy. It's very frustrating because all we want to know is who is on it and bring justice to those people. That is it, right? Now, of course, there is something about the tariffs. The tariffs I am kind of curious about, okay? I am very curious about the tariffs. To be completely real, I'm very interested about the tariffs to see if they're actually really doing what he says they're doing. Is it really helping or is it not? Is it working or is it not working? That's what I want to know, right? Me, all I care about at the end of the day is keeping the people that I care for and keeping us all safe, right? We're not going into some type of conflicts where we're flying, where we have to go out to fight in other countries, where we're losing our loved ones. where there's no peace, etc. Like at the end, and as long as we're not in some sort of breadline, fighting for one little morsel of food, these are the things that I care about, at least, living on this continent, right? In this country, right? I mean, obviously, what I just said is very broad strokes. I mean, obviously, you can fine tune that all day long to fit however you see fit. But at the end of the day, being able to keep a roof over my head, keep the lights on, keep my family and my loved ones happy, safe, fed, right? And of course, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, right? That's, I think, one thing that we all should have. Every single last one of us as citizens of this country should have, right? And, of course, we're going to have certain leaders that are going to run and do certain things that some of us may not agree with. I also still believe in, hey, sit back, let's see what it does, right? Because not everything is just instantly you turn off. It's like turning on and off a light switch. You see what I'm saying? It's not that simple. Some of these things we won't see the effects of it until a year or two, or even after he leaves office. You see what I'm saying? So there are some things that I don't have the answers to because I'm still waiting for the results, if that makes any sense. But I am interested to see what is going to happen and if these things are actually working, for sure. But there are some things, yes, I agree. There's a lot of things as far as certain bills that were signed, that were passed, that I have a big problem with because, of course, it hurts people that are in need of those certain things, right? Certain things that were cut, budgets that were taken and knocked out, etc. So again, like I said, I'm trying to see I want to see what happens. What's the future here? But we'll see what happens. You know what I mean? There is no definitive answer. Everybody thinks that everybody wants to rule the world, right? But not everybody knows how to run it, and everyone thinks that they know how to run it, right? And some of those people actually are running it. Sometimes they're running it and they have no idea what the hell they're doing, right? They're like, what does this switch do? You know what I mean? They don't know what the hell they're doing. So again, I feel like we got to sit back and wait and see what happens. Now, he did talk about what's going on in Chicago. He said he hasn't done it yet, but it's happening. So he said he doesn't know when, but it's happening. So that's something we all have to put in the back of our minds, that eventually here very, very soon, National Guard will indeed be taking over Chicago, whether the Chicago's elected officials agree with it or not. Illinois' elected official agrees with it or not. The governor of Illinois, all the way down to the mayor of Chicago. Doesn't matter. Those guys will be deployed in Chicago. It's only a matter of time now. That's one thing he did say for sure. It's not happening right now, but it's happening. That's what he just said. The other thing too is, this is weird. There is a video. Let me see if I can find it. There is a video where they're saying let's see. How would I say this? White House window, maybe? There's a video of somebody opening the window. Yeah, it's right here. Which it's weird. It's weird. Let me show you. You guys can't see it on TikTok, but if you want to go over to YouTube, you can watch it over there, okay? But there's this video of somebody opening the window to the side of the White House and just dropping a bag out the window. And let me play it. Just dropping a bag out the window. No biggie. You saw that. Now they're doing it again. Now, Trump is like, oh, that's AI. Don't know if it's true or not. But he's like, no, the windows are bulletproof and they're sealed shut. You'd have to be a very strong person to open the window and be able to open the window. But he's saying that this is AI, which is very interesting as well, right? It looks real to me. But AI be AIing out here, guys. AI is kind of wild. So maybe it's not true. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not AI. I don't know, right? But again, nonetheless, he's saying it's fake news. He says it's AI. So I don't know. And that's something that's circulating. I mean, major news networks were sharing this. Okay. They were putting this up. And no, I'm not talking CNN. And I'm sure they were too, but there was other places that were putting this up. Being like, people were, concerned about this, the window to the White House opening up and somebody dropping something out of the window. What is this all about? Now he's saying that's AI. I don't know. But that's something that's very interesting nonetheless. His people said it was a clean out and that it's real. Just contradicting himself all over. That's very interesting. Hey, it's Sabrina on TikTok. So she just said, hey, it's Sabrina on TikTok, said his people said it was a clean out and that it's real, just contradicting himself all over. If that's true, that's crazy. That's crazy. And the thing is you see the person, that is true. You see the person like drop the thing out the window. Look. Just show you guys one more again. You can see the person right there. But he's like, yeah, these windows are bulletproof. They're sealed shut. There's no way. There's no way you can do that. It's AI. I don't know. Y'all. It looks real to me, but interesting, right? Very, very interesting. Let me get some of these super chats really quick. Beautiful Messy Ball, thank you so much. Just crimes are far more than just crimes. More than just his S crimes. The deep state is bipartisan. It is not one party. It's both. I've been telling people this for years. I agree. I think it's both. I think that there's bad people on both sides. I really do. I really, really do. And I think a lot of us can agree on that. But I do think it's crazy that, and I'm going to say, I know some of y'all going to be feeling some type of way about it because anything that you say, anything that's anywhere near a criticism or somewhat negative or like a commentary on Trump, some of you guys just go ham and just lose your minds. I don't know. I don't understand it. I just don't understand it. But my thought is, I just don't think it's right for, as you saw in the press conference, I don't think it's entirely right for him to be so East Side, West Side about this, about everything, where it's the Democrats are liars, they're decrepit, they're this, that, and the third, right? It's such a stereotype that he just puts over anybody that's in the blue. And I don't think that's right. I really don't think that's right. I don't agree with that. That's not how you should be talking, because American people are red, blue, some of them purple, some people not even on either side. You see what I'm saying? But it's so Tupac versus Biggie that it's kind of ridiculous. You know what I mean? They the devil. They wrong. It's like, come on, y'all. Come on, man. Come on. They just see the world differently than you. You know what I mean? That's all. It's just an observation. Just an observation. That's it. You know what I mean? But, like I said, you could still, but here's the thing. Somebody just said this, Trump is a very good leader. You could still be here's the thing though. Sure, you can be a good leader. Like I'm sure he could be a good leader, but at the same time, one thing that I feel tarnishes that, okay, is the one-sidedness, okay, from he's a liberal. I don't mess with him. Forget that guy. He's a bad person. It's like, come on now. Come on. Just because he sees something different, he sees the world differently than you, does not mean that you guys can't find something in common, or doesn't mean that he can't find a way to help make the world better, make the country better, and all that stuff. You see what I'm saying? It's just, like I said, I just think that it's, I don't think it's right. That's just me. That's just me. Because we are all of us in this country that are citizens all see the world differently. You know what I mean? Somebody asked a question. I might get to that question here in a second. Grateful. Thank you so much for the love. I appreciate it. 4 weeks of cleanup, and it's safer than ever. That's almost unbelievable. Such a crock of dirty, steamy BS. I mean, they said that from what we understand, and you even heard Cash Patel say it during that press conference before they deployed the National Guard in DC. He even said that the crime rates, the M rates, all that stuff, the unaliving rates, all that stuff was at the lowest it's ever been. But Trump said right before that it was the highest it's ever been. And he's like, see, look at these charts that he never really explained. He never dove into it more, but he said, look, these charts, DC is more dangerous than Bogota. Look at that. And we're like, interesting charts. See, as you can see, it's legitimate when you have charts on the screen. And see, it's more dangerous than Bogota. See? Right? Now, let's not get it twisted. Chicago is mucked up, okay? Chicago, oh my damn, is insane. And yes, there needs to be something done with Chicago. It is absolutely dangerous, okay? Now, deploying the National Guard there? I don't know. I don't have the answer to that. But something needs to be done. 54 people injured, 8 to 9 people lost their lives over this weekend because people want to just come out with their pew-pews akimbo and just, that's insane. That's insane. Something needs to change. And here's the thing. If the mayor and, the governor of Illinois and all the other elected officials in the state of Illinois can come together and figure something out and crack down on the crimes in that particular city, then maybe that won't ever happen. Maybe maybe National Guard won't go in there. You see what I'm saying? But Chicago's bad. Chicago's in bad shape, y'all. That's without question. But Washington, D.C. being all decrepit and messed up. Now, here's the thing. This is the question I would leave or ask somebody who actually lives in DC. I've seen countless people so far that are like, yo, DC has been fine. Yes, there's crime. It's a city. Things do happen. Crime does happen. But at the same time, it's nothing in comparison to what he said in that press conference. And again, I hate to go back and bring up again Cash Patel, but Cash Patel, head of FBI, said certain things that clearly said, oh, DC has been fine. It hasn't been that bad. 5 seconds after Trump went up and said, it's the worst you've ever seen. There's crime of the likes you've never seen before in DC. And so we're going to bring bring the National Guard in. Like I said, it's just interesting. It's just interesting. Grateful again. Thank you so much. Sycophants in suits, clueless why they're laughing. Yeah, I mean, I could see that perspective too. I could definitely see that perspective as well. Asking why, right? Tell me why. No Joy here. Thank you so much for the love. I just can't listen to the BS stories. I live in DC and several people were hit. People don't be fooled with his lies. Oh, wow. Total BS. So you're saying, No Joy here, you live in DC. Thank you so much for the super chat. You're saying several people were hit in DC. So the crime hasn't really dwindled or slowed down or gone to a screeching halt. That's very interesting. And now we're hearing from somebody who lives in DC and is saying that is total BS. Interesting. That's very interesting. Thank you so much. IB4, thank you so much for the love. How can any sensible person take this man serious? Ask. There's a lot of people that are taking him serious. Look at all those people that were up right behind him. So we all are taking him serious because we're listening. We just watched his press conference, did we not? So again, we are taking him seriously. We are. General, thank you so much. Are you mad? You look mad. No, I ain't mad. Why is everybody asking if I'm mad? I ain't mad at all. Man, I'm not mad at all. Okay. I was very interested to see what he was going to say. I was interested to see if that was going to be like some live tape or if that was going to be a pre-recorded statement of some sort, right? Because a lot of people were wondering if he was well or not, right? But no, I ain't mad. Shoot. I ain't mad at all. IB4 again, thank you so much. Thank you so much. No passion on stopping school tragedies. So sad. It's interesting what he talked about, like how he talked about it. Okay. About the school tragedies. And what he said is about getting the teachers suited and booted. I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like that could take a turn for the worse. Because remember, you got teachers teaching. Say they got the sidearm, right? They got it on their hip, and they're sitting there, writing on the chalkboard or on the erase board. Because I don't know, some schools have chalkboards, some schools have the erase marker boards, the whiteboards, right? You're turning around, and some crazed kid runs up, grabs a pew-pew. I mean, I'm just saying. And it's on there, and I get it that it could be in other places. It could be in a lockbox in a specific area where only one person or the teacher only has access to that particular lockbox and all that stuff. But you realize that's a recipe for more disasters, right? I feel like the thing that should be done is, you got law enforcement, you got National Guard. Why not take them to these schools? Right? I mean, at this point, I'd rather that so that these kids can stay safe. And if some crazed lunatic tries to go in there and do something bad, okay, they could be stopped, right? Not, let's put the matter of life and demise in the hands of our educators. Hail to the no. Let me just say this too. These teachers aren't getting paid enough. Sure. These teachers are not getting paid enough. You really think they're going to be like, yeah, give me a pew-pew. I make less than a guy that works at McDonald's per hour. No, man. No, it's way too much responsibility. It's way too dangerous. Then those lunatics, those crazy little monsters that are glorifying these other previous monsters, now know that there's weapons inside the classroom. And instead of them going, well, now I need to get my hands on one. Well, the teacher got one. Bet they go and attack the teacher. And you also got to remember, too, not every teacher, and I'm not sitting here saying that this is going to be all teachers, right? But I'm just saying not every teacher is fully equipped or experienced to be able to handle something like this, something like that. I'm just saying that it just seems it's just too much. It's just too much. Too much responsibility, too much weight on the shoulders of an educator. Let the teachers teach. Bring security. And not just one security, and I mean, I'm not talking about like that SRO, right? I'm not talking about that one security guard, guy that's on the campus that just walks around and he just happens to be on the opposite side of the campus when the tragedy ensues. No, I'm saying bring in more, right? Let them be there, and their sole jobs are to make sure that that school stays extremely safe. And it's not like, oh, he's on the other side. He's in the south parking lot when this guy is running through in the north parking lot doing God knows what. You see what I'm saying? It always seems like that. Oh, he was on the other side of the place doing a tour on the south parking lot of the school, near the theater, and everything that's happening is on the other side by the football field. Like, no, man, no. We gotta spread it out, baby. Okay? And I feel like every school needs this. That's what I think. Maybe they don't need to be in Army fatigue, but they need to be out there. But giving a teacher that, that's a recipe for disaster, y'all. That's a recipe for disaster. Okay? And then, let's be real. There's teachers out here that are thinking bad things too. Sorry, they just have they're not doing it. Okay? We haven't heard any stories about that. But at the same time, there's teachers out here that are thinking, man, F these kids. You know what I'm saying? Just saying. People crazy. Okay? That's just me. And Debbie, no, I'm not going to be doing a poll, unfortunately. I'm going to, but yes, thank you so much. Hit the like button. Thank you. Of course. But yeah, guys, I mean, like I said, I know there's no definitive answer for these school tragedies, but they need to do something. They haven't done anything at all. Giving weapons to teachers, is that the best move? I don't think so. The other thing too, is it going to be enough for example, he said, some of these teachers have, military background and blah, blah, blah. We should be giving those teachers the weapons. Are you sure about that? Not every teacher was ex-Marine. Not every teacher is an Arnold Schwarzenegger. Let's be real, okay? It's not a tumor. Like, not every single, you know what I mean? Not every single one's Dwayne The Rock Johnson when he was on the juice, all right? And then, not everybody's also, Sylvester Stallone, all right? Some of these teachers are just teachers, and that's it. So you might have one teacher that, was a veteran, and they owe, okay? You're one teacher with that experience, and that's it. And now they have the weight of the safety of the entire school on their shoulders as well. Come on now. I'm just saying, there's always that one, and it happens to be the PE teacher. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Or that crazed biology teacher. All right. But they owe. Okay, they in like they late 60s, late 70s. Okay, they're just there trying to get their tenure so they can move on, get their pension, and move the F on. You feel me? They're like Danny Glover. Okay, in Lethal Weapon, they're getting too old for this ish. But then you're going, okay, sir, because you have the background in weapons. Here's a weapon for you. Protect all these children. Enjoy. What? So again, not every teacher is equipped and ready. And no, just because they do CrossFit at a local box down the street does not mean that they suited and booted and ready to go too. They just cosplaying, y'all. They just cosplaying. Sorry, not sorry. Okay, don't matter if they're running around with a weighted vest that looks like a bulletproof vest. It does not matter. They've never touched a weapon in their lives. They just know how to do burpees really fast. And thrusters. Okay, so stop. Give the responsibility to the people that has their own sole job solely is to protect the kids and the school. That's it. Okay? Put that CrossFit to use. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? You know exactly what I'm Copper, yeah, thank you. Okay? Thank you. All right? Let the teachers teach. Let them worry about their curriculum rather than, loud noise. Oh, okay. That was just a kid being an idiot running down the hallway. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. Okay. Let me get this super chat. MP, thank you so much for the love. Anyone with 34 felonies and Epstein BFF not credible. That's what a lot of people feel, man. That's what a lot of people feel. I want to see more evidence. Allegedly, Island Boy's emails have come out as well, which is insane. They have leaked. Yeah, it's all starting to come together to a certain extent. But are we seeing, just for the left turn really quick, are we getting any more information from the White House? Nah, we're not. They're just moving on. At least when it comes to that Island Boy, we're only hearing about, we're going to do this, this, and this. We're going to deploy National Guard here, and Chicago better be better. If they don't get better, we're bringing in the National Guard. Tear a page out of what we did in D.C., right? All this distraction, but instead we're not hearing anything about any files, any lists, nothing. Definitely under the rug. Definitely under the rug. And hopefully we're going to find out more information. Tomorrow morning, though, just so you know, tomorrow morning, victims of the Island Boy and his girlfriend are allegedly doing a press conference tomorrow morning. I will be watching that. We will be watching it here because it matters. And what happened to them is real. Not Israel, is real. Okay? It is. So they're going to be making a statement tomorrow. We're going to be watching that for sure. Okay? But that is the show, guys. I appreciate it. I don't know what time it's at, Melissa, on TikTok. But I'll let you guys know. Okay? Just keep an eye out on it. I'll let you guys know. Even if it's a quick little TikTok on here, just letting you guys know what time it starts. I'll let you guys know. I'll give you guys the update. But that's going to be happening tomorrow. First show. Okay, so do me a favor, guys, before we head out here, all right? Please do me a favor, hit that like button down below, crush it, do it, hit that reaction button if you're watching on these other platforms. If you are watching on these other platforms like Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, Kick, please show some love by simply hitting that follow button. Follow, all right? And especially if you felt entertained and informed, make sure you hit that subscribe button here on my YouTube channel. We talk about a lot of things on this channel, okay? Everything from true crime to pop culture to politics and everything in between, okay? So make sure you are subscribed. Hit that notification bell, please and thank you. Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Check out my Patreon. And, of course, check out PascalMerch.com. We got some really great stuff over there, PascalMerch.com. All right, guys. Anyway, it is time to get going. Much love to you guys. Have a safe and wonderful rest of your day. If I don't see you guys, but I'm sure the news be newsing. There's a lot to talk about, so you might see me on here very, very soon. Have a great one, guys, and we'll be talking shortly. All right? Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.